the hidden war in your brain. Have you ever wondered why you're not where you thought you'd be in life? You've read the books, watched the motivational videos, promised yourself you'd change, and yet, it feels like something keeps pulling you back, quietly, invisibly, like an invisible leash tied around your willpower. The truth is, there's a silent war happening in your brain, every single day, and the battlefield is run by one powerful chemical, dopamine. Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, may not have spoken of dopamine directly, but his teachings reveal something deeper, something ancient, that if left unseen, will rule your life from the shadows. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you won't just understand dopamine, you'll begin to understand yourself. 1. The real role of dopamine. It's not what you think. Dopamine is often called the pleasure chemical, but that's not entirely true. It's not the thing that makes you feel good. It's what motivates you towards what you think will feel good. It's the brain's internal compass, guiding you toward rewards, goals, and desires, whether they're healthy or destructive. In today's world, this system is hijacked constantly. Think about it: social media, fast food, pornography, video games. All of these are engineered to overstimulate your dopamine pathways. And because dopamine is tied to anticipation, not satisfaction, you're left in a constant loop of chasing without ever arriving. This explains why you might scroll for hours and still feel empty, why you binge a show but feel more drained than entertained. The brain is being tricked into thinking it's achieving something, but all it's doing is getting better at escaping discomfort. 2. Carl Jung and the shadow, dopamine's dark twin. Carl Jung believed that within each of us lies a shadow, the unconscious part of the psyche we try to ignore. The shadow holds our fears, desires, and suppressed instincts. And here's the truth: your dopamine cravings are often driven by that shadow. When we avoid discomfort, when we seek constant pleasure, we're not listening to our higher self, we're obeying the shadow. Jung said, people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. He wasn't just being poetic, he was describing the dopamine-addicted self that would rather escape than evolve. Avoiding your fears, running from boredom, numbing your pain with quick pleasures. These are all symptoms of a shadow in control. But the more you resist your shadow, the more it controls you from the background. That's why self-awareness is so important. Dopamine is the reward system, but the shadow is the one choosing the reward. 3. Pleasure versus purpose. The trap of modern life. The modern world is not built to help you grow. It's built to keep you comfortable. And comfort without challenge breeds apathy. You stop striving. You stop reaching. You confuse ease with happiness, and then wonder why you feel so lost. When you get easy dopamine, like fast food or scrolling, your brain thinks you've accomplished something, but you haven't. Purposeful dopamine, the kind you earn from building, training, or creating, rewires the brain to seek meaning over mood. In philosophy, ancient thinkers like Aristotle believed that real fulfillment comes not from pleasure, but from eudaimonia, living in accordance with your highest potential. Pleasure fades, but purpose transforms. Dopamine isn't the enemy, but when it's hooked on hollow rewards, it becomes your captor. 4. The myth of willpower. You're not weak, you're wired. A lot of people think they just need more willpower to break free. But here's the truth. Willpower is like a battery. It runs out. If your environment is constantly tempting you with instant hits of dopamine, no amount of grit will save you long term. Neuroscience shows us that habits beat willpower. Your brain forms neural pathways based on repetition. The more you reward it with easy pleasures, the more it expects them. And the harder it becomes to sit with boredom, pain, or stillness, which is where all growth happens. Jung would say that until you make the unconscious habits of your life conscious, they will direct your fate, and you will call it destiny. The secret is not forcing yourself to be stronger. It's designing your environment, routines, and habits so you don't have to fight yourself every day. 5. Rewiring the brain, the philosophy of resistance. How to train dopamine, not just resist it. We often hear just resist temptation, but that's not a long-term strategy. Resisting dopamine is like trying to hold your breath underwater. Eventually, you give in. The goal is not just to resist, but to retrain. And this begins with understanding that discomfort is not a signal to stop. It's a signal to lean in. Every time you voluntarily face something uncomfortable, like waking up early, pushing through a difficult workout, sitting alone with your thoughts, you're training your brain to release dopamine in response to effort, not escape. Over time, your nervous system learns to associate fulfillment with the things that build you, not the things that numb you. This is called dopaminergic rewiring, and it's very real. Philosophers knew this long before neuroscience did. The Stoics practiced voluntary hardship, cold baths, fasting, silence, not because they were masochists, but because they knew that resilience is a skill. Seneca wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare," asking yourself all the while, is this the condition I feared? When you practice struggle on your own terms, you take back control of your mind. But here's the twist, this isn't just about pain, it's about meaningful effort. When your brain learns to get its dopamine from progress, from creativity, from commitment, you're not depriving yourself, you're liberating yourself. That's the real win. 6. Integration. Make the unconscious conscious. The deeper inner work most people avoid. Carl Jung didn't want people to become good, he wanted them to become whole. And wholeness means owning every part of yourself, even the parts society tells you to hide. The unconscious mind is not just where trauma lives, it's where truth lives. And dopamine is often the drug we use to avoid that truth. This is where philosophy and psychology merge. Dopamine becomes a distraction from the soul's real work, the work of introspection. Asking the deeper questions, why am I addicted to comfort? What am I afraid I'll feel if I sit in silence? What do I chase when I feel unworthy? Integration means seeing those patterns without judgment. It means observing your impulses. Like a scientist, I want to scroll right now. Why? You start noticing your inner child, your insecurities, your cravings, not as flaws, but as signals, as guides. Jung taught that transformation comes when you stop identifying with your thoughts and start becoming the observer of them. That's how you begin to separate yourself from your impulses. You're no longer the anger or the craving or the fear, you're the one who is watching it unfold, and that is liberation. When you integrate your shadow, when you bring your unconscious patterns into the light, you stop being a puppet of dopamine and start becoming the architect of your own mind. You don't need more hacks, you need more honesty, and the courage to face yourself fully. The awakening. If you're not winning at life, it's not because you're lazy, weak, or broken, it's because your brain is chasing the wrong rewards. And until you face the shadow, until you reclaim your dopamine, and until you consciously choose your path, your life will be ruled by urges that aren't even yours. But once you wake up, Once you take control of your inner world, everything changes. Hit like if this made you pause. Subscribe if you're ready to go deeper into philosophy, psychology, and your true potential. Because this isn't just a channel, it's a path to freedom.